Welcome to Women in Focus. Our woman in focus today is a doctor. She's a pediatrician. I was getting all muddled up in there. Her name is Nita Jain, and she's our woman in focus today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So, pediatrician. The very first time I heard that word, I thought it was all about feet.
Yeah, it's a funny term. I'm sure there's some Latin origin.
Yes, there must be.
Pod is foot.
Yeah.
Ped is children.
Children.
Yeah.
So you're a baby doc.
Yeah, baby doctor. Really, pediatrics starts at 0, right at birth.
Wow.
And it goes up to about age 17 or 18. So
really.
So it's actually a really diverse group,
yes.
which is what I love about it, because rather than just focusing on adult populations
right.
or children populations, I really feel like there's 3 or 4 distinct populations within that age range.
Right.
Newborns, infants, children, adolescents. We cover it all.
Wow. Now, of course, a question that I must ask, why did you want to become a doctor?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, mom and dad or just you?
No, there was definitely I would say probably from my dad more
yes.
than my mom. My dad has always valued education.
Yes.
That was a big part of our life growing up. There was never will you think about going to university? It was understood. My sisters and I would go to university.
Yeah.
I think secretly my dad wanted to be a doctor. I think he wished he'd had that opportunity, and
right.
I heard it a lot as the
yes.
eldest of the sisters growing up. I heard it a lot around the house, but typical teenage form, I felt rebellious and I wasn't
yes.
going to do what I was being told to do. And so I don't think I really took it very seriously. I was always interested in children.
Yes.
I probably thought I would have ended up as a child psychologist.
Right.
I used to read a lot of books like that about children in difficult situations, and I found that very interesting. But then I ended up really, I don't have a story to say that I was a patient when I was 6 years old and I loved medicine. I literally ended up in my 3rd year of undergraduate university
right.
thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with my psychology degree?
Wow.
Because I knew that I had to do more years of a master's and then more research and then a PhD before I could actually practice as a psychologist. So I remember sitting down with my girlfriend at the beach, and we pulled out the UBC University calendar, which was in paper format at that time, and just flipped through it, and I said, all of these professions
yes.
where you can graduate and end up with a job in
right.
your hands, most of them were in the bachelor's realm, and I was already working on a bachelor's degree.
Right.
And I think that's when I thought, well, why not
try
something that will take me a step forward.
Yes.
I really was, I really wanted to be in healthcare.
So to be a pediatrician, do you have to, as a doctor, do you have to do all the dissection and all that jazz?
Oh yeah, yeah. Not just to be a pediatrician though. You have to do that to be a physician.
No kidding.
Yeah. So that's your first year. That's what they do. They throw you right into the anatomy lab.
Okay, so tell me about that. Tell me about that. How was it? Was that queasy for you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think it was. You'll think it's strange, but we work on a cadaver.
Yes.
There are these amazing people that
yes.
know that they want to donate their body to science, and we worked as a group of 4, and it was actually we are very respectful of the person that we're dissecting, and that was really clearly spoken about at the beginning
wow.
of the course. And then we literally spend a year with the same body doing dissections with the same group of 4.
Right.
And it was interesting. I can't say I loved it, I'll be perfectly honest.
Yes.
And it's an anatomy lab would run, I think, about 3 hours, and
right.
the smell and the room with no windows and everything, it was not the best place to be, but it was an important learning process. It's a long road getting there.
Yes.
I can't deny that. I have,
yes.
I have kids come into my office and ask me, how many years did you go to school? And when I count it up, I am actually shocked, because I did 12 years of post-secondary education to be where I am.
Yes.
Is it a hard job? Yes and no. I love the job, and so I think that's what they say, that if you love what you do, it's not really work anymore.
It isn't, yeah.
So it doesn't feel hard.
Yes.
I do have, I worry about my patients. I worry after they've left my office that I've made the right diagnosis, that I'm doing the right things for them. I worry about those sorts of things. I have lots of good colleagues that I can go to for guidance, which is great. But is it a hard job? Everybody has a hard job. Everybody, that's one thing. It doesn't matter to me what you do in life. We all have the same goal. We're trying to make a living, feed our children, look after our families.
So growing up in Vancouver?
In Vancouver, with a short stint up north in BC, but mostly in the Lower Mainland.
And a traditional family?
I would say my family is a conservative family.
Okay.
All things considered.
So you're a Jaini?
Yes.
So are Jainis vegetarian?
Yes, we are.
So are you still a vegetarian?
I'm still a vegetarian.
So how was that growing up?
Well, in retrospect, it was probably excellent because there were not too many places we could go out to eat.
That's right.
Or too many menus that I could eat off of.
Yes.
And so I think health-wise, it was probably the best thing that I could have been exposed to.
Right.
It had its challenges, but I can't say that I ever doubted being vegetarian my whole life. In fact, I've expected that my kids will go through that, where they sort of shun vegetarian food, but they're as committed, I think, as I was.
Yes.
And it didn't. People knew that about me. Everybody knew that I was vegetarian. I was a little different.
Yes.
But it was. I wouldn't say it was a very big challenge. I managed to convert my husband, which is probably the most
challenging.
Well, no, not challenging, but something that was really important to me and to him, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was his choice. I didn't.
You didn't force it upon him.
No.
I do want to ask you a little bit about your growing up in Vancouver, and you're growing at the time when a lot of people felt that Indian wasn't the in thing at that time, right?
Right.
But let's take a short commercial break and come back.
Okay, very good.
Nita Jain is our woman in focus today. She's a doctor who will come back right after this short commercial break.